Hello everyone, I'm Gamarez and back again with another video on Storm King's Thunder and how to streamline it. Today we'll be talking about the Eye of the Allfather, an ancient temple that is older by millennia even than the ancient Clouth himself. Now I've been debating on how to give this information specifically because I didn't come up with a specific way to run it. I used the Storm King's Thunder DM's Guild bundle that really helped in fleshing out this area from the entrance till the player characters leave. So with that being said, I can only tell you to buy that bundle, follow how it lays out the traps and the sequencing of events, how those happen, and you'll be good to go. But I have a few changes on that document itself, and if you don't want to use the document, you don't have to, but you can include the changes I'm going to give you here because they are, like, let's say, easy to add into the temple without changing much. First things first, let's talk about the barbarians and their leader. You can have them being evil as much as you want. The fight has to start somehow at the entrance, right? But Wormblood can be a little more on the neutral side. He is looking for his niece that is trapped in the spider tunnels. So if your players actually manage to negotiate their way with Stormblood, then that would be a cool way for having Stormblood joining them in the Eye of the Allfather in order to try and find his niece. After he finds the niece, or after the players find the niece in the spider tunnels, it's a toss-up. You can have the niece be a 50-50 kind of character that will follow Imrith when she arrives later on, or go against her, depending on how your party role plays with her. So she can speak about the dreams of a dragon standing in front of 6 torches as the torches all get snuffed out, and she feels like this is a premonition of something to come, or she's like being guided to do something for this dragon. And the players can have a give and take with her throughout their stay in the Eye of the Allfather. It might not be long for the players to interact with her and roleplay, but if they do manage to shift her into being good, they'll have an extra ally that can help them in the future, probably, when they want to go after Imrith. But if they don't, then here's a cool twist you can do. She joins Imrith and attacks the players when Imrith comes in, but Stormblood deals a killing blow and just stands on top of her body as the temple collapses on top of them, giving you a little more tragic story for these people who have been living in the spine of the world for centuries now. Moving to the rooms in the north. I mean, the second level of the temple, doesn't even need to be there, right? There's nothing really interesting here at all from a DM's perspective, from a player's perspective. It's like a huge barracks where giants used to sleep or stay or something like that. So it's the trap there in and of itself is a very simple one. The SKT DM's guide or DM's bundle really helps in narrowing it down and how to DM it. So there's not really much you can do there. But what you can do is you can have the trap be laid and set by draconic magic with draconic inscriptions that need a DC 23 investigation check to find by someone who has proficiency in Arcana. I said DC 23, but it doesn't have to be 23. It can be Imrith's spell DC in and of itself, which probably is like 23 or 21. Right, it's gonna be high anyways. So the characters in the party will struggle to find it at first, but when they find it, they can begin to decipher it, and they'll realize that this is draconic magic in this temple, and Harshnag will be furious that this is happening. And of course, since there are statues, then what can we do? We can have Imrith's eyes popping out from them, and she can watch and look as the party moves around the area. Specifically the stone giant that catches the boulder in the trap to the room in the north. She can talk to the party if you want, taunting them, telling them that, well, maybe she doesn't talk to the party, maybe she talks directly to Harshnag, because Harshnag is the real threat. He's the one who led them here. And she can tell him, you won't live long enough to regret this. When the eyes appear on a statue, if you want to have that confrontation, when the eyes appear on the statue, tell your players, like we said before, a piercing blue gaze or blue sapphire-like eyes that send chills down your spine. If the players don't link this to the statue back in Zymorvan Hall, then it's fine. You'll have another chance when Imrith barges in, and you'll have another chance by the end of the campaign for them to go, oh my god, Zymorvan was part of this. So don't worry about that front. Now, the room to the south where you'll find Thrym's Great Axe is kind of, it's not, Harshnag's here, it's not going to be a threat, right? One adult Remoras seems powerful, but against a whole group of 5-6 players, maybe Kevin's 8 even, it's not going to be a threat. If you make them into like 3 or 4 young Remoras, depending on the number of players, 4 young Remoras against a party of 6, 7, and 8 players would be cool. They'll have a rough time dealing with them because they are tough, they deal a lot of damage, and even when you hit them from up close, you'll take even more damage with that as well. But since Harshnag is here, it's gonna be fine. If you have a party of 5 or less, 3 young Remoras is fine. If it's 3 players or less, 2 young Remoras, don't add any more than that. Harshnag will help the party dispatch them. It's going to be fine, you won't lose anyone here, even if you have probably 4 Remoras against a party of 7 or 8. Now, the main puzzle itself needs a lot of finagling and attempting to try and do, you know? I don't really like how the module says, well, if the players can't find or don't find the solution, just have Harshnag take Thrym's Great Axe and pump and just touches the Frost Giant rune or something. And, oh, yay, we begin to solve it. No, it's, if the party find an interesting way to do so, with the giant weapons. Just keep the constraint as one of the giant statue weapons, and a party member touches it to one of the runes atop the gate. If you have one of your party members that has giant blood, then you can confine it to that PC that has giant's blood in their veins. You know, if they're a descendant of giants, half giant, whatever it may be. Don't keep it set. Don't keep it rigid. Whatever solution they come up with, which is interesting, fun, and creative, just go with it and open up the portal for them so that they can walk inside and speak to the Oracle. Now that we've gotten to the Oracle, I'm just going to keep it nice and easy. The Oracle answers questions just like it says in the book, just like it says in the Storm King's Thunder DM bundle. Just keep it straight, keep it simple. If they ask about what is going on in the Storm Giant, with the Storm Giants, what's going on, why did the ordning shatter, just say that, let them know that there is treachery in the Storm Giant court. The Storm King's eldest daughters have conspired with a dragon against the king and giant kind as a whole. If your players ask who the dragon is, then the Oracle tells them the dragon's name is Imrith. You need to specify, really specify, that they need to find the conches of teleportation, right? So when the Oracle tells them about, when they ask anything that pertains to how do we get to the Storm Giants, just give them the straight up answer of here are the giant layers, and you need to get a conch of teleportation from one of the giant strongholds of each giant kind. Now, here's the most important thing. No giant relics. Screw that, screw giant relics. We don't want any giant relics in our campaign. We want to streamline this. We don't want to go prancing about looking around for giant mounds, which the players are just going to go to the closest one anyways to find, and then they go to the next closest to find, and then they're going to trudge all the way back. If you want to add 10, 15 more sessions just to get to giant mounds, to get to travels, to get to combat, to get to RP, to get the item, to get back, to ask the oracle questions, you're just going to waste a lot of time in which the players can actively have a grudge against Imrith. Since we are not talking about any giant relics, and we're not going to have a cloud giant ghost that's named Aegaron telling the players that, ooh, my father, I don't know what he did, he's a really bad giant, you need to get him, and then you're gonna have to, as a DM, go and buy another whole adventure just to have whatever the hell that is. You can have Aegaron as a ghost. He can speak to the players. He can tell them about when a portal opened, he swore he saw a storm giant. But suddenly he was attacked and absolutely destroyed by this ancient blue dragon that came out of nowhere, and the storm giant was nowhere to be seen. That's how you give another way to foreshadow Imrith coming in. When the players finish asking the oracle the 6 questions, they walk out of the portal. Imrith crashes in through the main gate, and you follow the scenario as the book says to a T. Let Harshnag break the giant statue, tell them to run, the giant statue of the Allfather, of course, tell them to run, and he charges into Imrith. He can attempt to grapple, keep her attention on him as the players run. Like we said, if Wormblood's niece is good, she'll be running with the players. If she's not, if she hasn't turned good and friendly to the players, she'll become hostile and she'll become a warlock of Imrith, and she'll turn and attack the players herself, in which she'll be tragically killed by Stormblood. Alright, and when the players finally manage to escape, as the walls come tumbling down, they'll find the airship to the cultists of Clouth. This session would usually be a very long one if it didn't stretch into 2, if you just start specifically at the entrance to the Eye of the Allfather. I ran it to 2 different groups, and both groups, the session ran from 6 to 7 hours almost. They're troopers. They really try. They really tried to get through it, and they did. They managed it. So you can end the session with them on Clouth's airship. As the airship flies off, the players realize that these people are wearing dragon cult masks, and they say, "The great and ancient dragon Clouth welcomes you to his airship, and he has sent us to aid you in your quest of killing all the giant lords." That's where you can end the session. Your players, you can give them a week or 2 until whenever you do manage to finally schedule another session, to kind of think about how they want to move with this. Do they want to immediately attack the cultists? Do they want to lay low? Do they want to learn about the ship and then take over it? You know, all that cool shit that's in the module itself. Because the module is cool, the adventure is cool, it just needs a little fine-tuning. Another thing we can have in the temple itself is maybe like an ancient giant relic, like a weapon or a magic item. I think there is one called the Ice Shard or the East Shard. That's fine, that's a really cool and neat weapon to have. If you'd like to add something else, something homebrew, that is giant related, you can surely go ahead and do that. The place is huge, there's nothing for the players to find. Really no magic items for them to find and be rewarded for exploring the place. So go ahead and add something to the non-existent second layer that I really don't like in the temple itself. And don't forget, when Imrith barges in, she crashes through the doors, looks around with her sapphire blue eyes that pierce through your players and sends a chill down their spine. They should be able to figure it out by now that Zymorvan has something to do with this, but again, if they don't, it's fine. At the end of the campaign, they'll figure it out. It'll just be, you'll just give it to them smack dab in their face. With that, we're good. We're done with the Eye of the Allfather. We're heading towards the giant strongholds with the cult of Clouth, and hopefully we're going to reach the end of the campaign very, very soon. My next video probably won't be about the Giant Lords. It might be directly about Maelstrom, because I feel like that's the more important place to give a video about. The giant strongholds need to be tweaked, maybe not really a lot, but the giant leaders themselves need to be changed. They need to be homebrewed. As it stands in the module, they're just maxed out giant versions, giants of every version. So yeah, I'm gonna have to think about how to make a video about the giant strongholds specifically, and the giant lords specifically as well, how to homebrew those into becoming real threats for players that are level 8, level 9 at this point, right? With that being said, please like the video, share it, subscribe. This has been Gamma Rays, over and out. Alright, let's go into that Chainsaw Man episode.